Hey, it's March 20th and time for another video. And I felt the need to have a chat again, so here it is. Hope you get something out of it. And if you do, and if you have a comment to make, please make it. Um, I felt like observing a couple of things that have been going on in the recent. Well, one is happening right now, and the other is a recent event that was tragic. Uh, it happened in Atlanta, where the those poor women were shot down in their place of employment in a massage parlors down in the Atlanta area. The concern I have is the bad reporting that seems to go on and the rush to judgment on the motivation of the individual involved. I mean, there were 6 Asian women killed and 2 white women killed. And I think he injured some people as well, but it was just a brutal, savage, disgusting act. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, they can throw away the key or they can end his life, and I wouldn't worry about it either way. But that's just my thinking on the subject. But the bottom line is, though, we don't know, and you have to analyze, I think, unless the guy spells it out to begin with, what the motivation is. And apparently these places were Asian American run, and Asian American women were in them, and there were obviously 2 white women as well, but it became a racist thing immediately, it seems, in the media. And you know, if in fact that was the case, it just seems odd that he frequented these places to begin with. If he was going to kill someone for no other reason other than their race, why would he have frequented these places before that? The kind of people who commit those kinds of acts, like the man who, the racist white nationalist who went into the church and killed a bunch of people, I think, in the Atlanta area as well. It was a Black Baptist church, I think, and he didn't frequent that church. He just waltzed in and killed a bunch of people. So anyway, it seems to me that you need to evaluate the situation, and just reporting it as a racist act without having that kind of thing in detail. You can certainly speculate on the motivations of someone like this. It's probably fair, but to come out and say that it was in no uncertain terms, I think is potentially damaging. So, and I don't know if it's an attempt to just get more attention for your particular media, or for your newspaper, for your television network or whatever, but it sows a lot of mistrust and a lot of hatred potentially when you portray it in this way, and it's in fact wrong. So that's one thing. Another completely unrelated thing is I'm currently watching an MMA match, or MMA card, and I've tried to explain to a few people what it is about MMA that interests me. I have to go back to when it first started to interest me. I was on a trip by train to Montreal with work, and it would have been probably about 2005 or something like that. And one of my coworkers brought his laptop over and was showing me what he was looking at. It was a UFC, one of the early UFC tournaments. And he was a karate guy, practitioner of karate, quite good, and a really nice guy. So he was telling me all about what he was looking at, and to me it was bizarre. It looked really weird, having watched boxing a fair bit over the years, because it was you watched the Ali fights, and you watched Sugar Ray fights and things like that, but didn't watch it too often, didn't really know it very well. And so something like mixed martial arts, especially in the early days when the rules weren't being as refined as they are now, it looked kind of chaotic, like a street fight on television. And as time went on, and as I spoke to him more, and then I started watching a little bit of it as it became available to watch, um, and the level of skill sets jumped. Um, it became a fascinating thing to watch because it answered all the questions that everyone seemed to have, which was, you know, is kung fu useful? Is are any of these these martial arts, these Asian martial arts of use? How about wrestling? How about boxing? All of these other things, grappling. Um, what is the ultimate in martial arts and or the striking, the grappling and the kicking, all these things, what works best? And that's what these things are answering, and it's actually evolved quite a bit as in the last few years. And the level of skill sets for these guys now is and ladies is phenomenal. It's kind of because every different fighter offers up different levels of skill at the various types of skills. It's problem solving. It's a high level physical problem solving uh, with a very high cost of making a mistake. So um, that's kind of the way I look at it, and in fact, it's the way I think most of the analysts look at it and everything. And the skills, like I say, the speed, the skill, the the amount of strength and endurance and all of those things is extremely high. These guys are among the more highly trained athletes out there. They're incredibly fit, incredibly powerful, and skillful. So very very interesting. Just this week, Marvin Hagler passed away, and I have more of an appreciation for a guy like Marvin Hagler now, having watched what I have watched. I appreciate even the more refined, or I wouldn't say refined, the more specific kind of martial arts like boxing, because I see what needs to be done when you don't have to worry about leg kicks or grappling, wrestling, and being taken to the ground. It changes. It makes it very a very narrow focus, but the skill sets are very high. Is just the same. And when you look at say kickboxing, it removes the grappling and the wrestling and all that stuff. So it kind of is a form of martial arts that's interesting. But to me, mixed martial arts is and I think it's been shown that the number of people watching now, the pay-per-views are pretty much outstripping even the top boxing pay-per-views. So more and more people around the world. I don't think you'll ever find people go back to pure boxing in the way that they were before. The initial comments of boxing promoters and boxers and analysts was one of, MMA is nothing more than a human cockfight or something like that, where it's like an animalistic kind of thing. And I think that the lie has been put to that. This is a fairly cerebral game. You have to know what you're doing, and you have to know what the opponent is doing, and you have to know how to get out of certain holds if you're on the ground, and you have to know how to get back to your feet if that's where you want to be, and all of that. So anyway, I would encourage people to have an open view of it. It apparently, because of the smaller gloves and everything, there's less damage done, at least so they say, in this kind of a sport, because people are taken down and out, and it's the end of the match much quicker. the amount of effort involved in the wrestling and the grappling aspects and all of that, it just takes it out of you. Anyone who's wrestled in high school or whatever knows how draining it is. So the championship matches are 5 rounds and the regular ones are 3 rounds. So there's just less damage done, generally speaking. So anyway, I find it very interesting and entertaining. And the top level guys are incredible athletes. So anyway, highly recommend it for anyone who's looking for something to do on a Saturday night and sees that there's an MMA card available. Have a look. Anyway, comments below. I don't know what anyone thinks about MMA and the UFC that we get. We tend to get is UFC here. But let me know below, and let me know what you think about the Atlanta situation. I don't know if you guys saw the same thing I did, but I definitely saw a move immediately to try and brand it as something that was racially motivated, which seems potentially damaging out there. Don't need any more of that. Than we got enough of real craziness to deal with without adding to the stack of a potential for damage to society because of a crazy man who killed for no reason other than race. Anyway, once again, thank you for the views, and we'll talk. Bye-bye.